I didn't have any hype for this film, but it really surprised me. So guys, how are you? I hope you are well. I am the Monio, the interdimensional demon, who talks the most about DC animations on YouTube, and you are on my channel. Just remembering that this animation is not necessarily intended to be faithful to the comics, since a lot of things have been changed. Not even George Perez's visual style is emulated here, so everything I argue will be referring to the animation. The comic is irrelevant. In the plot, Barry Allen, also known as the Flash, begins to see glimpses and lapses of other realities through the acceleration force, and discovers that the cause is a mega-event that is slowly destroying all realities, and joins other heroes summoned by a being called Monitor, so that together they can prevent the destruction of the entire multiverse. I really didn't have high expectations for this film. I hadn't really liked the trailers, since from the trailers, the impression I had was that this animation was just another excuse to end this universe, due to the animation crises within the Warner, in which several animated projects were cancelled, including the excellent Young Justice, and even though I knew there would be at least a second part, I was expecting a rushed and straight-to-the-point film, just like the film that ended the previous universe, but the film surprised me in many ways. The film begins with a mysterious scene, and the pace of the narrative is relatively slow at the beginning, and gradually accelerates, as the mysteries presented at the beginning are resolved and you gradually understand what is happening, and as the film shows these situations involving the Flash, we understand in practice how Flash's power interacts with the multiverse, and how important this will be for resolving the problem, when the film finally establishes him as the key character to save the universes. The fact that the film does not have a fast-paced narrative allows it to not only focus on main plot, but also leaves room to create really cool subplots, like Amazo's arc, which at first seems out of place and aimless, but which eventually connects with the main plot. The Flash's arc manages not only to be the heart of the film from a problem-solving point of view, but also to be an interesting journey for the character, which works on his main conflict, which is being torn between the love of his life and being a superhero, and being able to understand that these two things can coexist, with Iris West having her importance shown, not only for the Flash, but for the plot as a whole. It can be said that the great emotional catharsis of the film is the farewell to Iris and Amazo, even more than the destruction of the universes themselves, and these are characters that could simply not exist in the film if other narrative decisions were made. The film uses practically all the heroes who have appeared in this universe so far, including even those who appeared in the animated film World War II, and who are now older, so anyone who has watched these other films will have a more complete experience, but if you haven't seen none of these, I recommend that you at least watch the short film DC Showcase House of Mystery, which will provide a lot of context for some of the things that happen in this film, such as the identity of that mysterious character that everyone knows who he is, and also why he is there. There are also many other characters that appear in this film, and that are known to DC fans, especially to those who watch Justice League Unlimited, such as Question, Aquaman who has the harpoon in his hand, and many others. And there are many character fan services for if you're a DC fan. Seriously, I'd watch it pausing to try to recognize everyone, and you can even see Peacemaker at a certain point. The film's animation was another point that surprised me a lot, because since the first film in this universe, which was Man of Tomorrow, I hadn't seen animation so well done. You can see in some moments, like the way the characters are drawn, it is much more detailed than what we had seen in previous films, and the animations are quite fluid. A lot of people don't like the visual style adopted by the Tomorrowverse. I understand those who prefer the style of the previous universe, but I personally find this style much more beautiful and very pleasant. My complaint in the last films wasn't about the style, and yes, about how these films were apparently receiving less and less budget, as the fluidity and quality of the animation in general was suffering, and this can be seen very well in the film Justice League War World, in which I was very critical of this aspect. One of the biggest things that disappointed me in the film was the fact that the characters from different universes didn't have their own visual styles. For example, in the part where the Flash goes to the Crime Syndicate universe, it would have been much cooler if instead arriving in this universe, the visual style would change to what we saw in the 2010 film Crisis on Two Earths. The Question could have the same style that we saw in the animation Justice League Unlimited. Some of the characters that appear in the background could have the style of other well-known animations, and although we know that it would not necessarily be the same universes, it would serve as a great tribute, since one of the proposals of this film is to be a great tribute to DC. But the Monio, don't you think you're demanding something that the film never set out to do? I don't think so, because in the animation House of Mystery, which is a prelude to what happens in this film, this resource is used, and we see two Constantines, one with the style of the previous universe, which was what caused the crisis, and the other in the style of this animation itself. Furthermore, DC animations have always used different visual styles in the same animation to represent the multiverse, and this can be seen, for example, in the Teen Titans Go episode, where different versions of the Teen Titans appear in their respective styles. Even in recent animations like My Adventures of Superman, this feature is used, so the only reason it wasn't used in this film is that it would be a lot of work, and that's why they decided not to use it, but it's a detail that would greatly elevate the quality of the film, as it would visually convey the idea of the multiverse much better, but using the same style as always, for me, gives a great feeling of wasted opportunity to do something truly incredible from the point of view of paying homage to DC animations. I was really happy to see that this film is cool, and that it received the attention and care it deserves, given the importance that this saga has for DC, and I'm looking forward to the sequel. But what about you? Did you enjoy the animation? Do you agree with me that it could have been better? Leave it in the comments, and if you liked the video, subscribe to follow the next content. Until next time my people, demonic hugs.